Most people lose control before they even realize it. Not because they're weak, but because their brain reacts automatically. Every conversation hides a silent power dynamic. And at the end of this video, I'll reveal one psychological habit that instantly puts you back in control without saying more words. The human brain is an ancient machine, wired for survival. And one of its deepest, most primal fears is uncertainty. Not knowing what comes next triggers an alarm deep within the oldest parts of our mind, the same parts that once scanned the horizon for predators. This built-in aversion to the unknown isn't just a quirk, it's a survival mechanism. When you introduce unpredictability into a situation, a long pause, an unexpected question, a calm demeanor in the face of chaos, you are essentially creating a void. The other person's brain scrambles to fill that void. It searches for patterns, for meaning, for a predictable outcome. This scrambling process creates a low-grade, often unconscious, form of stress. And under stress, the brain defaults to its simplest, most automatic behaviors. It becomes less creative, less strategic, and far more predictable. A person experiencing this subtle stress is more likely to reveal their true intentions, not because they want to, but because their cognitive resources are being used to manage the discomfort of uncertainty. They are operating on autopilot, making them easier to understand and anticipate. By simply managing the level of certainty in an interaction, you can guide the flow of the conversation without ever appearing to be in charge. The real power isn't in making moves, it's in creating the space where others reveal theirs. Now, consider what happens when that internal stress kicks in. Have you ever noticed how some people start talking more when they feel nervous? They fill every silence with words, stories, and details that often have little to do with the topic at hand. This isn't a conscious strategy to communicate more effectively. It's a primal attempt to relieve the internal pressure of discomfort. The act of speaking, of filling the void, provides a temporary sense of control. It's like turning up the music to drown out a strange noise in your car. The noise is still there, but for a moment, you don't have to deal with it. This oversharing is a direct symptom of the brain trying to cope with uncertainty. When someone feels they are being judged, or they don't know what you're thinking, their brain interprets the silence as a threat. To neutralize this perceived threat, they offer up information. They give you pieces of their story, their thoughts, their vulnerabilities, hoping one of those pieces will create a connection and reestablish a sense of safety and predictability. They are not talking to you, they are talking to their own anxiety. For the keen observer, this verbal flood is a clear signal. It tells you that the person is feeling pressured, that they are outside their comfort zone, and that their calm exterior might just be a mask. In this landscape of human interaction, a powerful force is always at play, and it's not what most people think. We are conditioned to believe that attention follows the loud, the bold, the one who speaks the most. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of brain science. In reality, our attention is instinctively drawn to calm. Think of a room full of panicked people. Who do you look to? Not the person shouting the loudest, but the one who remains still, observant, and composed. The brain is a sophisticated pattern recognition machine, and it has learned over millennia to associate calmness with control, competence, and safety. Loudness and speed are often interpreted by the brain as signs of panic or a desperate need for validation. A person who talks quickly, raises their voice, or uses dramatic gestures is often signaling a lack of internal stability. Their energy is chaotic, and the brain instinctively shies away from chaos. In contrast, a person who speaks slowly, deliberately, and maintains a relaxed posture projects an aura of unshakable confidence. They don't need to shout to be heard because their presence alone commands the space. This quiet authority is magnetic. It makes others lean in, listen more closely, and value the words that are spoken. Calm doesn't just attract attention, it holds it. It creates a gravitational pull that is far more powerful and lasting than any loud display. This brings us to a common misconception about power, the illusion of dominance. Society often paints a picture of dominance as something overt and forceful: the alpha who pounds their chest, the executive who slams their fist on the table, the person who speaks over everyone else. But true dominance, the kind that endures and earns genuine respect, is almost always quiet. It operates beneath the surface, communicated not through aggression but through subtle, undeniable signals of inner strength. When someone feels the need to constantly prove their authority, they are, in fact, revealing the opposite. The brain is incredibly adept at detecting insecurity. When a person tries too hard by boasting, giving unsolicited commands, or adopting an overly rigid posture, they are broadcasting their own self-doubt. They are playing the part of a dominant person, but their actions are a performance, not a reflection of their true state. It's a bluff. And deep down, everyone else's subconscious knows it. True authority doesn't need to announce itself. It is felt in the person's unwavering eye contact, their relaxed confidence, and their economy of words. They don't need to prove they have power, because they are so secure in it that it radiates naturally. The person who is truly in control of a room is often the one you notice last, because they aren't making any noise. They are simply being. Let's dissect one of the most common power plays in conversation, the interruption. On the surface, it can seem like an act of confidence. Someone cuts you off to make their point, seemingly taking control of the conversation. But what is really happening at a neurological level? Interrupting is rarely a sign of genuine power. More often than not, it is impatience disguised as power. It stems from a lack of self-control, an inability to wait for one's turn, and a deep-seated fear of losing the opportunity to speak. The interrupter's brain is in a state of agitation. It has latched onto an idea and feels an urgent need to release it before it's gone. This urgency signals a lack of inner calm. A truly confident person knows their point will still be valid in 10 seconds. They have the mental fortitude to listen completely, process the information, and then respond thoughtfully. They are not afraid of silence or of letting someone else finish their thought. Interrupting is a short-term tactic that reveals a long-term weakness. It tells you that the person is reactive, not strategic. They are driven by impulse rather than intention. While they might win a momentary conversational skirmish, they reveal a fundamental insecurity that undermines their perceived authority. They are fighting for airtime because they are afraid of being forgotten, which is the very opposite of someone who possesses quiet, unshakable control. We have explored how the brain reacts to uncertainty, why people overshare under pressure, and how true control is calm and quiet, not loud and aggressive. All these pieces lead to one single, powerful habit that leverages these psychological truths. A habit that can shift the power dynamic in any conversation, instantly and without conflict. Here's the psychological habit most people ignore. When someone interrupts you, don't rush to speak again. Don't fight for the floor. Don't raise your voice. Simply continue your sentence calmly exactly where you stopped. Imagine you are saying, the most important factor is the long-term strategy, because, and someone cuts in. Most people would either stop and let the person talk, or they would try to talk over them. The powerful move is to do neither. You simply pause, let them finish their interruption, and then, with the same tone and pace, you resume, because it allows us to adapt. You don't acknowledge the interruption. You don't restart your sentence. You complete it. The brain registers this as unshakable confidence. It sends a clear, subconscious message: your attempt to seize control had no effect on me. I am the stable point in this conversation. There is no confrontation. There is no aggression. Just control. This simple act bypasses their conscious attempt at dominance and speaks directly to their subconscious, which recognizes and respects true composure. You haven't fought for power, you have demonstrated that you never lost it. The strongest people don't fight for control. They don't need to. They understand that real influence is not about winning battles, it's about being the one who remains standing, calm and centered, when the dust settles. They let silence and calm do the work for them.